Okay, simplify the complex number 1 minus I times 7 plus I minus 1. Hence, sketch the Argon diagram and then express the complex number in polar form. Alright, so to do this question, first we need to simplify this complex number here. Okay, so 1 minus I times 7 plus I minus 1. So first we need to multiply this, or we're going to expand that. Right, so the first one is 1 times 7, which is 7, and then 1 times I, which is positive I, and then negative I times 7, which is negative 7I, and then negative I times I, which is negative I squared. And then at back here we have negative 1, so minus 1. And then we're going to simplify this expression. So the first one is I times negative 7 is equals to negative 6I. And then 7 we minus with negative 1. So 7 minus 1 is 6. And then I squared is equivalent to negative 1. So negative negative become positive. So 6 plus 1 is equals to 7. So we get 7 minus 6i. So we simplify, okay, the complex number here is become 7 minus 6i. And then we need to sketch the Eigen diagram for this complex number. Alright, so to sketch an Eigen diagram, first we draw the real axis and the imaginary axis. And at the real axis, so we're going to look at the real part of the complex number, which is 7. So we draw, okay, this the 7 here, okay, at the right side of the real axis, and then the imaginary part is negative 6. So negative 6 is below here, which is somewhere around here, and then the point 7 negative 6 is somewhere around here. And then we draw a line from the origin to this point. Alright, so we get the Argon diagram for this complex number 7 minus 6i. So next is to express the complex number in polar form. Alright, so 7 minus 6i in polar form is r cos theta plus I sin theta. So we need to find r and theta. So first we're going to find r. Okay, so r is the length of this line. Right, so we can use this formula. R is equals to square root a plus square root a squared plus b squared, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part. Alright, so we can substitute the real part. Okay, a is the real part, which is 7, and then b is the imaginary part, which is negative 6. So we substitute to the formula, and then we can simplify this. So 7 squared is 49, and then negative 6 squared is 36. So 49 plus 36 is 84. So r is equals to square root 85. Right, so next is to find theta. So theta is the angle here. Okay, that is theta. So before we find theta, we need to find alpha first. Alright, so the formula for alpha is arctangent, the modulus of b over a. So b is the imaginary part and a is the real part. So we can substitute. Okay, so b is negative 6 and a 7. Alright, so we have modulus here. So modulus here, we change the negative to become a positive. So this is equivalent to arctangent 6 over 7. And then we can press the calculator to get the value. So arctangent 6 over 7 is 0.7068 radian. So in radian. Alright, so this is alpha, but we want to find the theta. So since theta, or from the Argon diagram, you know this is from the Argon diagram in the fourth quadrant. So in fourth quadrant, theta is equals to negative alpha. So we just substitute the alpha that we get, which is 0.7086. So theta is negative of negative 0.7086 radian. Right, so now we have the value for r and theta. So now we can substitute those two values into the polar form. Okay, so r is equals to square root 85 and theta is equals to negative 0.7086. So now we get the polar form for the complex number 7 minus 6i.